first films that future stars did. And sometimes you can find all sorts of things, horror films, critters. I mean, this must be one of the best first films ever, when you think about it.
And Tim wanted me to maybe be a ghost, like in reflections and stuff like that. So I played the victim. Sean has killed me and my girlfriend. And he had the idea that sometimes it was not a good idea. But and actually, for a brief moment, in a reflection, I am Sean in the movie, you can find it. But he had me come virtually every day, watch Sean act, and I would be there just in case. So I had a front row seat to the best actor of his generation, in my opinion. Like, maybe giving the best performance he ever gave. And I learned so much. And I would actually there's Penny Allen, and then I also learned from Sean Penn. And he was so relaxed, even in the most upsetting scenes, he would just be like, ice, cool, Sean. Nothing makes him, many actors, I think the thing that gets in their way is just nerves. You can act really well if we were just doing it in your living room with nobody watching, but you have a crew and time, and at that time film, costing money, we only a certain amount of it, we have to get on to the next scene, and just learning how to deal with anxiety is a huge part of film acting. That's like maybe number 1 or number 2. And so just watching him deal with it, which was kind of mysterious to me, but was really helpful.
Do you still get nervous, or that's done?
I get I'm about to give birth feeling, which maybe is sort of like nervous, but only for certain scenes. I get a little bit nervous right before I start, like walking to set, especially early on in filming, you don't know what it's going to be like, but even later, a little bit nervous, but then, like I said, the camera has become my friend. So when the camera rolls, I remember my lines. It's like, it turns out like I'm really good with a gun to my head. Everything occurs to me. Some people forget. I remember. Thank God. That's why I think I could be a brain surgeon, pretty sure. Because I'm good under pressure.
This brain surgery keeps coming up. I'm getting a little bit worried.
Well, no, it's because this is what happens with me. It's like I'm pregnant with being a brain surgeon. I'm actually currently doing sci-fi, but the thing with sci-fi, I'm doing Neuromancer, the William Gibson novel. But with science fiction, let's be honest, the set and the clothing are 80% of it, and then you just give another 20% and you're done. Unless you're Gary Oldman in The Fifth Element, and then there's a lot to do.
Everybody gave a lot in this film, I would say. I wanted to check if we have any questions from the audience. We're going to give you mics, I think. If not, I'm going to give you mine. So if you have any questions, just raise your hand, and there's somebody over there. And should I throw it? I can throw it. No, it's coming. Just keep your hand up so we can see you. Yeah, and we are coming. I can't believe Fifth Element just came up.
I kind of
It should always come up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Forgotten.
I would have loved to have been in that movie with tape on my body.
Dressed as Mila, exactly.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you for being here. Actually, I have 2 questions. What do you advise actors nowadays that social media is becoming so important and it's kind of like blocking our opportunities for us actors that don't have like a presence in social media? Do you think we should use that medium, or do you think we should still fight for our art without social media? And the second question is about what would you advise for people that are dealing with creative block? Thank you.
I don't know much about social media. I think I have an Instagram thing that other people do for me.
You think?
I don't really consume it or do it. What I will say is, you're lucky that you live in a time where you could make a movie on an iPhone. Don't wait for Warner Brothers to call and offer you the, supporting part. Like, make it, do it. It's not hard. Make a short film, and get your friends involved. Create a community. Community is really important. Find other people that are like-minded in terms of your taste, or challenge your taste, or just find people. Seems to me there are a lot of them. I would say, in terms of creative block, look, I'm also a writer, and I'm a writer that, I guess it's like the opposite of creative block or something. Like, I write every day as a practice, no matter what, and I don't judge it, and I don't try to be the best. I think the thing that, for me, what I see with creative block is it's people thinking they have to be a genius. You don't have to be a genius, You don't judge it, just write it, just do it. Your judgment is the thing that is creating the problem. So, I think that's, Michelle says something very interesting, because Michelle, if you want to talk about how to get over creative block, talk to this guy. Michelle works more than most directors. He just does it. He has friends that have trouble. And his advice always is just get it out. Just get it out. Vomit it, whatever fucking way you have to get it out. But sit down and do it. Get rid of judgment.
Thank you. Another one here. Thank you.
Hi, Peter. Joy to listen to your discourse. The rise of artificial intelligence and the extent to which creative arts are developing in places like India and China. What are your thoughts about, is it a tool, the enemy, is it evolving? How would you reflect on what the future may look like 5 years from now?
I don't want to get doomsday.
It's going to be like the Fifth Element.
Yeah, honestly, I think the issues with AI and creativity are less of a problem than the bigger issue that, in 5 years they'll have AI that is smarter than all of our brains on the planet put together and can instruct itself to be more. It's too terrifying to talk about. You can go watch videos on the internet and not sleep like I've done. In terms of using it with art, look, if it helps you get over your creative block, if you could interact with it on some level, I've never done it. I don't know how to use it. I can understand how that could be helpful, like kind of having a thesaurus kind of thing. Maybe I'm like such a Luddite that I am underestimating AI, but this is what I've thought about with AI. Sometimes you were just talking about like making a film on your own and stuff like that. Like, if you wanted to have, I think it's relatively easy. I have a thing I'm writing right now that requires a stadium full of people as part of it. I think that's pretty cheap and easy to do these days. So like, I'm okay with like massive crowd replacement and that sort of stuff. I know the extras are gonna hate me for that, but like, sure, we'll have some extras and then we'll just make 60,000 people in a stadium. Sounds good to me. I can't hire 60,000 people. So that type of thing, I get it. I just know that it's gonna get abused, and what's gonna happen is we're gonna end up with the same stories told in different ways. We all loved Back to the Future. Back to the Future was one of my favorite movies growing up. We're going to see 20 different versions of Back to the Future. I mean, AI has not got, like, to my knowledge, sort of the outside the box personalized human capability. It's got it's going to reference all the things that succeeded already, you know? Could AI make breaking the waves? Breaking the waves is about, it's so different than other things and so deeply human. I don't know, it seems impossible to me. I think, and if we get out of touch with humanity, I mean, I think this is what I do. Like, these feelings I'm talking about that I have when I'm acting are my contribution so that other people will go like, oh yeah, so that we don't all become robots, so that we don't all disassociate over the time. Hopefully I wake somebody up who watched the dying call and goes, right, I had a lover die. I wish I could have helped them die more easily. You know, that's like, or I helped someone die, and God, I feel terrible about it. Is that the right thing? You know, like these are, can a computer come up with that? I don't think so. So, it's very complicated. I know that there's some very fancy established filmmakers that are using it now, but I don't believe in it. You know, could AI do a Cassavetes movie?
Could AI do something like The Sound of Silence, which was another very tender performance of yours?
Yeah, and very weird, but like the reason I wanted to do that movie is that guy's point of view on the world is very, very strange. I was like, I want to put your glasses on, you know. So yeah, was there a question over there?
We're coming.
Hi, well, it's a pleasure to be here and listen to you. You use an analogy that it's giving birth. How would you describe the after feeling of that? Because I think it's great, amazing. I never did gave birth before, but how do you feel after that? And you decide to do it every time, like consciously, or is it like, how do you do that? How do you feel after that?
That's interesting. I think when I first started, I did more creating. You know, I would like listen to music and things like that before I did certain scenes, and maybe in a way try to access the feeling or the state that I thought I should be in. I don't do that at all anymore. I just think about the given circumstances, where I'm coming from, what I want, who I want it from, and the feeling starts to happen almost, for certain scenes, like Pavlovian, right? Like, here I am again in this circumstance, and the bell rings and my mouth is watering, and all these physical things happen to me in certain situations, like they do in life, right? Like if I'm playing someone who's going to give a speech, my mouth gets dry. I didn't try to make my mouth dry. So I think it's Pavlovian at this point, but it's because I've been doing it for a long time also. And I'm relaxed and comfortable enough to not try to create something, but to let something inside of me surprise me, you know? Like, people laugh at funerals. You don't know what you're going to do, you know? Yeah, and I would say what the feeling afterwards, I don't want to give you another, it's a little bit like having had an orgasm. You know, like you're tired and giggly and elated and want to sleep and maybe want to do it again in 15 minutes. Something like that.
Okay, I have a second question, if I'm allowed. Why do you think you do what you do? Why do you act? Is it more than passion? Is it because you're a sensitive person? Is it because you're full of emotions? Why is that? Do you have a reason?
I mean, the reason changes all the time. When I first started, the reason was I was an only child who was extremely quiet. I never spoke. I only acted twice when I was a kid. Once was for a class where we had to give a speech from Shakespeare, and I really didn't want to do it. I did Friends, Romans, Countrymen, lend me your ears, and I just hated doing it. And then I also played Linus in the Peanuts game. Don't worry, Charlie Brown, we'll get your kite out of the tree, that guy.
It's a good combination.
Yeah, so the short answer to that is I first did it to find my voice, to be heard, to have people be forced to listen to me. And I didn't even know that I wanted that until this woman, Karen Schmulin, who I was very attracted to and never told her I was attracted to. I mean, I was not a guy that hit on women at all. I was just like a quiet person who had fantasies and ideas about people and listened to people's conversations, but never contributed very much. It's really changed. I won't tell you now, like a chatterbox. But so when I first did it, I went into this class and they gave me this play, Bent, which is a play about the Holocaust, about homosexuals in the Holocaust. And it was a scene where a character has to have sex with a dead woman to prove that he's heterosexual. And lo and behold, I just did it. And I had an enormous amount of feeling come out. I don't know that I'd even wept in my life. And it was oh wow, I felt like I had came for the first time in my life. And so I was just I want to do that again, just for the feeling. Then that got old. Then people wanted me to do it all the time because I am somebody who, after I discovered all these emotions in me, everybody wanted to see them all the time. And then I got tired of doing that. And I would get really angry at directors that wanted me to show emotion. And I would be like, I don't have to cry in this scene. I can actually be happy in this scene. Don't tell me how to feel. And I really resisted it. And then I think now I've discovered more if I'm really human in a story that's about something, it makes it very present and real for people. And maybe the director's intentions for why they're telling the movie, whether it be a political reason, a personal reason, will really resonate. Their idea. And I'm really into that now, because I've run out of my ideas. I'm I love collaboration. I'm this person needs to make this movie for this reason. Great, I'm on board.
Thank you. I think we might have time for one more question if anybody still wants to raise their hands.
Are you serious about quitting acting and becoming a full-time surgeon?
So the question was, I'm just going to repeat it. Are you serious about becoming a full-time brain surgeon and quitting acting? Thank you very much, Michel Franco. It's a pleasure to have you at the festival again.
That's all he talks about.
I will say, guys, I think I could do it. I thought I didn't, it's one of these things where when I first walked into the OR, I remember watching him wash his hands for fucking ever, up to the elbow. And I'm washing my hands, and I'm am I gonna pass out? What's gonna happen? I have no idea how. What happens if I pass out? He's are you okay with blood? And I'm yeah. I don't know if I'm okay with brains. Or the smell of sawing into a skull, or they do this cut and they I won't gross you out. But I got in there, and he makes me stand with my hands behind my back, this far away. And he started doing it. And I did sculpture a lot when I was a kid. And I started looking at it oh yeah, so if you do that, you pull that up like that. And then you take the thread and you make this like this. You can make the incision like that. That's interesting. Oh. And, sometimes the person's awake. They do awake surgery, which we're going to be doing in the film. And to watch a person with this happening, and they're doing that, and we're playing music, and I was I'm really good at this. So, look out. I don't know what's going to happen after this movie. It's not brain surgery.
I think another take on Silence of the Lambs is coming. You will be perfect in it.
This is what's really remarkable about it. We did a surgery. The surgeon did a surgery. I met the family beforehand. He has 3 daughters. I have 2 daughters. The dad's in the waiting room. They don't see what's happening, obviously, right? And you go out, and we're like, and I'm with the guy, and he's like, the surgery went well, and they're all really relieved, you know. And he said, and she'll be leaving in 3 days. We just cut a hole in her head and fished some shit out that was like this big. And I saw her again those 3 days later, be reunited and walk out of the hospital. And I thought, she's just not going to go live her life. It wasn't malignant. She's just going to go like live her life now. God, if I could do something where it was like, I did something on a Tuesday, and on a Friday, they were totally had a new lease on life. Imagine how amazing that would be. I mean, acting, it's like, I do it, and then 2 years later, I've forgotten about the movie. I'm on to brain surgery or something else. And in a way, I'm not connected to the film from a while ago, and I don't get to have the immediate sensation. That's what theater is for, really. I do it, and then they react, which is why every actor likes theater.
And of course, it's not brain surgery, but acting, it is important, and films are important, and art, and so on. And of course, it's a little bit strange to go from brains to Václav Havel, but we can do it. And I really found it so inspiring what you said, quoting him here. Do you feel like you have to talk about politics now, or just tell people that we can't be so divided anymore, or does it feel natural to you?
Is it politics to say that we shouldn't be divided? I mean,
Good point.
there are many things that divide us. The internet divides us, isolates us. Instagram, all of that stuff is isolating and divisive, and all of that. It's not even politics I'm talking about. I'm talking about like modern culture. We're not divided here. Like I don't even think of myself as a political person. You know, in some ways, you know, my daughter is not a political person, but she's going through the repercussions of having raised her voice politically in the United States right now, and is facing charges and stuff like that, and having to leave her school. She's not a political person. We are interested in humanity. We're interested in togetherness. Václav Havel, to me, was somebody in 1989, I was a senior in high school, and I thought he was just incredible. He's so brave. I learned all about him. I read his plays. I read his book on totalitarianism. I was like really interested in him because he was a man that knew what sacrifice was. It seemed to me he was like from a wealthy family, so far as I know. He chose prison over exile. Could I do that? No. But it's pretty easy just to say we should all say fuck you to the leaders that are dividing us all over the world. Trump, Netanyahu, the Ayatollah, Putin. Duh, guys, it's not politics. Underneath all of those people are like 80% of the population going like, hey, I'm American, but I'm not like an asshole. Or I'm Iranian, but I'm not like an asshole. I'm Israeli, but I'm not like into killing people. Like, that's not political. That's just life, you know. I'm for happiness for the most people, period.
Thank you so much, Peter. Yeah, exactly. I can promise you right now that if I ever need brain surgery, I'm gonna call you. You're gonna do that.
Wait a couple more months, I'm still working on it.
Thank you so much for being with us today.